Welcome back to Preservation Travels with Lane and Kevin here at our Restoration Nation. It's been a minute, but we have a treat for you today.
In 1787, a Spanish land grant to Robert and George Cochrane created Cochrandale Plantation, a cotton plantation run by wealthy Irish immigrants. In 1800, John Murdoch, also an Irish immigrant, inherits a portion of Cochrandale from his uncle upon his sudden death from a Pennsylvania boat accident, and he renames his portion of the land CANEMOUNT. In 1830, Robert Cochrane sells 250 acres to a consortium of 12 planters. On those 250 acres, they create Oakland College. In 1870, Mississippi purchases Oakland College and opens what is today Alcorn State University. In 1863, during the Civil War, Union troops visit CANEMOUNT Plantation. The plantation is not burned due to the fact that the lady of the house at the time, Frances, has significant Northern family connections. In 1864, the Murdochs acquire and manage other plantations in the area. And in 1929, the Murdoch family sells CANEMOUNT.
Today we are in Lorman, Mississippi. We're about 30 miles outside of Natchez, just a quick trip up the road to our new hometown. And we're just about 5 miles down the road from Windsor Ruins. We're going to take you by there and show you those on our way out. But we have come today to CANEMOUNT Plantation, this beautiful property that started out as a Spanish land grant in the 18th century and has come down through the family to be the beautiful property it is today. Today it consists of 40 private acres and a multitude of buildings, some of which date to the 18th century, but it sits nestled inside of a 3,500 acre nature preserve. So if you crave privacy, CANEMOUNT may be the perfect place for you. Now, this home is riddled with incredible architecture. It's architecture that we don't see much here in Mississippi, and there's a reason for that. And I'll tell you about that when we get inside. But I have to start out on this beautiful front porch. 2,500 square feet of front porch. And this house is designed in the Italianate design, and nowhere is that more evident than in these beautiful columns that we have right here at the front of the house. They have a half chamfered design. The chamfered cut is here only on the front, not on the back, and these surround the house 360 degrees. Absolutely stunning. Come over here, there's something else I want to show you. This is one of my favorite historic architectural details that we do not see in modern architecture. I've only seen one other still present. And here at CANEMOUNT, on the 4 sides of the house, only one remains. The porch had some repairs done a few years ago with the previous owner, and the people doing the porch repair had taken out the other 3 before the lady of the house made it back and said, "Do not take out my fan cut corners." You can see that these corners are not mitered, which is the standard that we see in these properties, but they actually start with these tiny, tiny fan cuts radiating out in a starburst pattern to create this beautiful curve around the front porch. And that makes it a non-stop curve. No mitered cuts. The boards just swoop around and continue their pattern this direction. Absolutely stunning and such a unique feature. It took so much math to create this. They did it with hand tools. So I couldn't not show you this beautiful fanned corner. We haven't even gotten inside yet. Let's go inside and see the treasures that this house has, for they are many.
We'd like to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. You know this channel is all about learning. Well, Skillshare is the largest online learning community with thousands of inspiring and creative classes. It's a place that you can get inspired, learn new skills, and put them to work in impactful ways that will help your community. When selecting a class, I'm going to be more likely to select something in the creative fields or in construction, but there is literally something for everyone. There are so many topics to choose from. Anything you can think of in the creative world and productivity, or maybe you want to focus on your career, learn how to do it better, or even create your own business. The list goes on and on. Right now I'm taking a class called ChatGPT for Creatives.
I have designed this class specifically for creatives. Just like you, I am an artist and fellow creative.
It is so interesting. Peggy Dean is my teacher and she knows everything there is to know, and this is a fascinating course. Want to unlock your creativity and learn something new? Well, the first 500 people to click the link in the description below will receive 1 free trial month of Skillshare. Do it now.
Welcome into the Center Hall of CANEMOUNT. CANEMOUNT has some of the most unique architectural features I have seen in Mississippi. I haven't seen these anywhere else. And we've seen so many homes here, things that we do not see in this region at all. And again, there's a reason for that, but let's look at a few of them. First of all, we have a walnut handrail banister and newel post. This newel post you see is either in the swan neck or the half lyre style. It's a little bit in between the two, a little bit of a vernacular interpretation of these two styles, but absolutely exquisite. All of the wood rising to the second floor is walnut. Very unusual for this area. But one of my favorite details in this home are the absolutely incredible entablatures and architraves. They are the very height of Italianate design. They also just sort of hint toward Gothic as well, and we see some Gothic design in this house, but I need you to look at these with me. The detail on these is splendid. First of all, the depth is about 2.5 inches, incredibly thick, but this has a bit of a chamfered look to it. Look at the incredible surround, just unbelievable. I have not seen these anywhere else in Mississippi, and let me tell you why. The lady of the house was from New Haven, Connecticut. And we think that she brought her good friend, Henry Austin, down from Connecticut to design and build Canefield for her. And let me show you why we think that's the case. Here we have a book written about Henry Austin's architecture. And here, in a plate showing a home that he built in the Northeast, is the exact same door surround. The same entablature, the same architrave, slightly higher style, but we know that the lady of this house, of CANEMOUNT, was a bit more demure in her taste, less ostentatious. She was very religious and didn't want those over-the-top finishes in her home. So she got rid of the plasterwork on the top, but kept the beautiful molding. We do have gorgeous plasterwork detailing in this house. All of the cornices are plasterwork, and of course in each of these main rooms, the entry, the formal parlor, the dining room, and the back parlor, we have beautiful plaster medallions. So let's go into the formal parlor and see what gorgeous surprises we have in there. My favorite feature, I have not seen before, that is not to say it does not exist everywhere and I just haven't encountered it, is the center window in this bay, which is an 8 light over 12 light jib window. That bottom sash is 4 lights across and has 12 lights and raises all the way into the ceiling so that you can access the front porch. Also in this room, we have a gorgeous Gothic Revival Carrara marble mantelpiece. Again, this home seems to blend bits and pieces of both Italianate and Gothic Revival architecture, which was not at all uncommon. And those are two of the styles that Henry Austin is most known for. So it makes sense that he would blend his two favorite styles here at CANEMOUNT, trying to keep his very religious, very simple client happy, while also creating a home for her that showcased his skill as an architect. This room also has an incredible plaster medallion in the center, featuring a motif of grapes, grape leaves, and morning glories. Now, let's take a look at the operational pocket doors that still separate the front and back parlor. Please observe these 10.5-foot pocket doors that have been here for 150 years and still work beautifully. You know, I'm always going to show you these. When they're in a home and when they function, they're worth buying the home for. Here in the back parlor, my favorite element is this gorgeous Gothic Revival bluestone fireplace. Again, a material that I have not seen used in this area. I know the camera is not going to pick up the color of this stone, but it is a true, almost navy blue in the deep veins.
And also in this back parlor, we have this beautiful 3-bay window, another set of box head windows mimicking the front parlor and flooding the space with beautiful light and access onto your gorgeous 360-degree wraparound porch. Well, here we are in my favorite room in every single home we go into, the dining room. Look at this incredible space. It is the width of almost the 2 parlors combined. It's only broken up by the small kitchen in the back. And again, in this space, we have another bay of 3 beautiful walkout windows, again, with another 8/12 box head window. Such a beautiful element that we just don't see. And behind me, a gorgeous pink marble fireplace. Another incredible plaster medallion graces the ceiling, and more original plaster cornices wrap this room. Upstairs, you'll find beautiful, elegant bedrooms. You'll notice that the finishes on the second floor are far more simple than those on the first floor because, again, you put your money downstairs where your guests would see it. While the fireplaces in the downstairs rooms are the height of style in the Italianate or Gothic Revival style, on the second floor we see simple Greek Revival style mantelpieces. They're still in marble, so still quite elegant, but not quite as trendy as those found on the first floor. Out the back gallery, you have an exceptional courtyard with a babbling fountain that heads to the pool house, original kitchen, and dairy.
This is the original kitchen of CANEMOUNT. We do think that this is an 18th century structure, part of the original build of the property, which is just phenomenal to think about, isn't it? You'll notice something interesting about this kitchen, though. There's no fireplace in this kitchen. In the 19th century, there was a wood-burning stove added, but the fireplace was always outside. The original owners of CANEMOUNT were terrified of fire, so it wasn't enough that they just removed the kitchen from the main house. They put the fireplace outside. So the cooking was done in the exterior portion of this property, which is unbelievable. Again, it is the only time I've ever seen that in any original kitchen space. I wanted to talk about the brick. We have exposed brickwork here, and this is kind of a fun time to learn about brick bonds. There are many different kinds of brick bonds that they're all done for different reasons, but this is a common bond. This is the one you're going to see most frequently when you see exposed brick like this. So what you see is a row of header bricks, and then you're going to have 6 rows of regular run, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then another row of header bricks. These header rows are to increase the strength of the wall. So you'll see that every 6 runs in a common bond. We also have evidence that there were early rafters in here on each side of the room. We see it looks like perhaps there were rafters in here and a much lower ceiling at some point. What was the purpose of that? Who knows? That's open for conjecture, because if you look above me, we have the original beams, and on those beams are original pegs. Now, those could be part of construction, but they also could be for hanging of dried and cured meats for easy access for food preparation. So this space is so old, it has seen so many iterations, it's gone through so many changes that there are a lot of mysteries to be seen in here. But there are a lot of mysteries all over CANEMOUNT, and we want to share a few others with you.
The history of CANEMOUNT doesn't begin in 1787. Human habitation has occurred here for millennia, and inside this box of treasures found on the grounds, we see beautiful evidence of this. So if you're the new steward, there's no telling what treasures await discovery just under the soil. This photograph shows CANEMOUNT how it appeared in 1888, shortly following the Civil War. You can see it's in a slight state of disrepair, but still standing strong and beautiful. The buildings in the back are all of the original dependencies, many of which remain to this day. One of the most poignant stories here at CANEMOUNT is that of the Coleman family. Ben Coleman was originally enslaved on the CANEMOUNT plantation, but after the American Civil War and after emancipation, he chose to stay on with the family. He had a very close bond with the Murdoch family. This photograph shows Ben with John and William Murdoch, the owners of the property, along with Ben's wife, Anna, his son, Ben Jr., his grandson, Ben Coleman III, and then his granddaughters, Agnes and Alice. Ben was so important to this family and considered a family member to such an extent that upon his passing, he was buried here at CANEMOUNT. The family spent $400 on a beautiful marble marker to mark his grave. Sadly, shortly after Ben passed away, his now adult granddaughter, grown and married, Agnes, also passed away. She too was buried in this cemetery next to her grandfather, and another beautiful marker was placed on her grave. Recently, descendants of the Foster and Coleman families returned to CANEMOUNT and were thrilled to see that family legend held to be true. They'd long heard that their family members had been buried with great respect here at CANEMOUNT, but that never had been verified. But now they know the stories are true, and they gather here regularly in honor of their family's history. Only 5 miles up the road from CANEMOUNT Plantation are the ruins of Windsor. The ruins consist of 23 standing Corinthian columns of the largest antebellum Greek Revival mansion ever built in the state. The mansion stood from 1861 to 1890, when it was, unfortunately, destroyed by fire. The 2.1 acre site with the columns was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1971 and is now a designated Mississippi landmark. The Mississippi Department of Archives and Heritage is undertaking a massive preservation program that will keep these evocative ruins standing in their place for many years to come. If you come see CANEMOUNT, make sure you make your way to Windsor Ruins. Even if you aren't coming to CANEMOUNT, Windsor Ruins alone are worth the trip to Lorman.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed your day with us, spending this day at CANEMOUNT Plantation, this absolutely exquisite home full of history, not just of the last 200 years, but of the last several millennia. Such a beautiful place to live your life and so much important history that you could be the caretaker of. If you think you're the next steward of this beautiful home, you can click the Zillow link in our description below. Remember, we are not the realtors. We don't represent the house. We can't answer any of your questions about the property and its sale, but the realtors in the Zillow listing below would be so happy to visit with you. Again, remember, we're just 30 minutes outside of our beautiful city of Natchez. So you are living the country dream within a few miles of a beautiful city. We hope you've enjoyed this day with us. Give us a like, a thumbs up, click that subscribe button, share this video with a friend, and we'll see you next time on Preservation Travels with Lane and Kevin.